In this video, we're going to be taking a look at multiplying by one-digit numbers. Now, the essential question that we're going to explore is how do you multiply by one-digit numbers? Now, as you know, you need to have your Go Math book out, a pencil, and your math journal, and I want you all to turn to page 27 in your Go Math book. Now, let's unlock this problem. It says on page 27, each day an airline flies 9 commercial jets from New York to London, England. Each plane holds 293 passengers. If every seat is taken on all flights, how many people fly on this airline from New York to London in just one day? Now, the first thing that we want to do is just give a really quick estimate on what we think the answer is. Okay, so what we do here, whenever we're estimating, we always want to round the number furthest to the left or to the greatest number. So that's a 2. Whenever you round, you look to the right of that number. If it's 5 or greater, you add 1 more. If it's 4 or less, number stays the same. So that's 293, so that's going to turn into 300. And we're going to keep that single digit the same, 300 times 9. So we will multiply, first of all, 3 times 9. That's going to give us 27. And then we'll tack on our 2 zeros for 2,700, okay, for our estimated answer. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take this step by step, and I really want you to understand the value of the digits that you're going to be multiplying. Okay, so we have 293 times 9. So the first thing we want to do is multiply 9, or 3 times 9. In other words, 9 times 3 ones. Why 3 ones? Because my 3 is in the ones place. Okay, what that equals, that actually equals, think of 9 times 3, that's equaling 27 ones. Okay, and what you would do, you would write the 7 in the ones place and the 2 in the tens place, just right here. Okay, now let's go to step 3. And now what we have is we are multiplying 9 times 9 here, which is actually 9 tens, or we're multiplying 9 times 90. Okay, so we have 9 times 9 tens is going to give us 81 tens. Okay, so it's going to give us 81, or think about it, 81 tens is actually 810. Now what we do after that, we add the regrouped tens. We had 2 that we carried over. Okay, so we had 81 tens plus the 2 tens that were carried over is giving me 83 tens. Now we write 83, but it's actually 83 tens, or 830. So we put our 3 here, carry our 8, and then we move on down to step number 4. Okay, step number 4, we're multiplying 9 times 2 in the hundreds place, so 2 hundreds. So 9 times 2 is going to give me 1800s. Okay, now what we do from there, we want to add the regrouped hundreds. So what we have is we have 1800s plus the 800s that we carried over is going to give me 2600s. Okay, so in one day we can see that we have 2,637 passengers from New York to London. Okay, before we move on, let's take a look at that question at the bottom. It says, how can you tell if your answer is reasonable? What we want to do, we want to compare that answer, 2,637. It's close to the estimate, so we know that the answer is reasonable. It's not going to be the surefire way to know that the answer is reasonable, but it will give you a pretty good idea. Now let's turn over to page 28 in your Go Math book, and I want you to read that problem at the top. Okay, so you can see that the multiplication problem is 1,978 times 7. Okay, and the first thing we want to do is take a look at our estimate. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to think, what is the product of 2,000 times 7? Okay, we round that 1,978 to 2,000. Multiply 2 times 7, going to give us 14. Then from there, tack on the 3 zeros for 14,000. Then you take that answer, you compare it to your final answer. Okay, now what we do, we're going to take a look at 1,978 times 7. The first thing we do is we multiply in the ones place. 8 times 7, we just break it down and we take one byte at a time. 8 and 7 is going to give me 56. Put my 6 in the ones place, carry my 5 over. We regroup. Okay, so 56 ones. And then my next step, what we're going to do is we're going to take that 7 and we're going to multiply it by the 7 tens. So 7 times 7 tens is going to give me 49. Okay, so 49 tens. Which is actually equaling 490. So you're really not multiplying 7 times 7. That's actually 7 times 70. That 7 there is actually 70. So we want to add the regroup tens. So we take our 49 tens plus the 5 tens equals 54 tens. And then from here, we put our 4 in the tens place, and we regroup the 5 over to the hundreds place. Then after that, we're going to multiply our 7 times 9 hundreds. It's going to give us 63 hundreds. Or just think about it, 7 times 9 gives us 63. Now our next step is to add the 5 that we regroup. So we have 63 hundreds plus 5 hundreds is going to give me 68 hundreds. What I do, you can see here, put the 8 in the hundreds place and carry my 6 to the thousands place. Now we're multiplying 7 times 1,000. 7 times 1,000, 7 times 1 will give me 7. Add the regroup thousands, so we take our 7,000s plus the 6 we carried over, giving me 13 thousands. Okay, so in week 1, we can see that 13,846 meals are served on flights from New York to Paris. And I take a look at my 13,846 and I compare it to my estimated answer, and my estimated answer was 14,000, so you can see it is a reasonable answer. Okay, now I want you to go to the share and show section, and what I will have you do is complete this section all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play and I will have the answer for you. So complete number 1, the share and show, all by yourself, and like I said, I'll have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, so here are the answers. The estimated answer was 4,800. The final answer, you can see 4,776 for the final answer. It is important that you just take that factor and multiply it by the number in the ones place, tens place, and hundreds place, and keep moving, okay, and regroup as necessary. Okay, so I want you to do 794 times 3. We're going to do this together. Okay, 794 times 3. The first thing we will do is multiply 800 times 3 to get an estimate. So 800 times 3 is going to give me 3 times 8 is 24, and tack on my 2 zeros for 2,400. Okay, now we have our estimated answer. Now we're going to go to our final answer. 4 and 3 is going to give me 12. Put my 2 down here, regroup my 10. Okay, now we have my 110 there. 9 and 3 is going to give me 27, so that's actually 3 times 90, or 3 times 9 tens. Okay, that's going to give me 27. I'll use a different color of ink here. Plus 1 will give me 28. Put my 8 here, carry my 2 hundreds over. Okay, now we are multiplying 3 times 7 hundreds. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 2 is 23. We'll write that down for a grand total of 2,382. Now what I want you to do is complete 822 times 6 at your seats all by yourself. When you're finished with it, you can press play and I'll have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, you can see the answer is 4,932. Check it over with your answer. Make sure it's correct. If it's not correct, you may need to rewind the video and watch the steps that we took previously. Now I want you to do 3,102 times 5 at your seat all by yourself. And when you're finished, you can press play and I will have the answer for you. So I want you to pause the video now. Okay, I'm just going to work through this with you. Okay, we have 2 and 5. It's going to give me 10. I put my 0 here, carry my 1. Now we're multiplying 5 times 0 tens. That's going to give us 0. Plus 1 will give me 1. 1 times 5 gives me 5. Okay, 5 times 100 will give me 500. So we put the 5 in the hundreds place. And then 5 times 3 thousands. Okay, 5 times 3 will give me 15 thousands for a grand total of 15,510. Okay, I want you to get some more practice. Complete this problem all by yourself. When you're finished, press play and I have the answer for you. You'll need to do this right in your math journal. You will not have enough room to do this anywhere else. Okay, so pause the video now. Okay, the estimated answer should have been 300, and your final answer should have been 348. Give you another problem. 7 times 456. I want you to estimate first, then solve the problem. And when you press play, I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, your estimated answer should have been 3,500. Okay, and then your final answer should have been 3,192. Okay, I want you to do this problem. 8,813 times 4. When you're finished, you can press play and I'll have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, the answer, and this is number 17 in your book, page 29. The estimated answer is 36,000, and the final answer, the exact answer, is 35,252. Now, if you're getting these correct, great, fantastic. You can keep moving on. If you're not, you need to rewind the video, check with a peer, make sure you're understanding this concept before you move on. Now, before we conclude the video, the test prep, it says a bus driver travels 234 miles every day. How many miles does the bus driver travel in 5 days? And I want you to complete this problem, and when you're finished with it, I'll have the answer for you. So I want you to pause the video now. Okay, you can see the answer is letter C, 1,170 miles. Now to conclude the video, we'll take a look at the essential question. How do you multiply 1 by 1-digit numbers? And you can see that I can use place value and regrouping. I start by multiplying the 1s, then the 10s, and so on, regrouping as necessary. So this concludes the video on multiplying by 1-digit numbers. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.